everyone, welcome back to While You're Cleaning. Today I have a simple DIY video to share with you. I have been wanting a bathtub tray ever since I got myself a nice bathtub. So this week I decided to put one together using boards and scrap pieces that I already had in my garage. So for me, this project was free, but it's a very affordable project that you could put together for probably under $10, and you'll see the different pieces that I used. It really wouldn't cost that much to put this together. So I thought that this would go really well with the Mother's Day basket that I just shared in my Dollar Tree haul and shop with me video, and I'll link that at the end. I shared both of them on the same day for a reason, so that you could put together a last minute gift idea if you needed to, but this would be great to make for yourself or to make for a loved one for a gift. And I hope that this video is helpful for you and that you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll go ahead and start building. For your first step, you'll want to measure how far across your tub is. Mine has a wall on one side, so I measured from the wall to the outer edge of the tub, and that is 32 inches. If you have a tub that doesn't have a wall on the other side, just make sure you measure across the top of the tub. And then I wanted to make sure I knew exactly where inside of this tub I wanted this board to be, because the width inside of my tub varies a little bit. So I just got inside of the tub. And then I'm going to be adding a small scrap board to the underneath side of this larger board that I have going across the tub. And this little scrap piece is going to keep the board from slipping off that outer edge. If you have a tub that does not have a wall on the other side, you're going to want one of these little boards on each side of your larger board. I'm using a 1x12 pine board that I already had in my garage. It is 33 inches long, and I'm just going to leave it at that length even though my tub is only 32 inches wide. The actual measurement of a 1x12 board is actually 11¼ inches wide and 3/4 inches thick. So it's not exactly 1x12, and I don't know why they can't just make it 1x12. But if you are looking to buy the same type of board that I have, it is a 1x12 pine board, and you can get it cut to whichever length that you need. And then I used my electric sander to sand down all of the edges of this board. Last thing I want when I'm taking a relaxing bath is to get a splinter. I'll be adding a couple vertical boards to the top of this bathtub tray to hold up a book or my phone, whatever I might decide to take with me in the bath. So both of these are just scrap boards I had in my garage. One is a trim piece, one is just a small pine piece. The smaller piece is 1 inch high, and the trim piece that's going in the back is 2 inches high, and they're both 12 inches long. And then I have that small piece that I'm going to be sticking underneath that I already showed you when I decided where to put it in the bathroom. So then all of these, I am just using my same electric sander on all of the edges of these to get them nice and smooth. I want to make sure that there are no splinters. You can use just a sanding block or piece of sandpaper as well, depending on your boards. Those should smooth it up just fine. This is the underneath side of my bathtub tray where I made that mark for my tub. And I am going to be attaching this piece here, and I think I've already mentioned this piece is going to keep the bathtub tray from slipping around. So make sure you add 2 if your tub is open on both sides, but I only need to add 1 since I have the wall to keep it in place on the other side. So I marked on here where I want to add my screws because I'm adding them at an angle because I don't really have screws long enough to go through this entire piece. So I just went ahead and I pre-drilled some holes at an angle to go through the bottom part of this support piece and then down into my board. And then I'm using 1 5/8 screws for this, but again, use whatever you have on hand. Next, I'm trying to decide where exactly I want this book stand to be attached to my bathtub tray. So I decided on 2 inches in from the outside edge. So I went ahead and marked that on the top side of the board, and here the board is flipped over. This is the underneath side. I'm going to pre-drill some holes here. So I went ahead and I marked 2 inches in, and then I marked the center of the length of this board. I marked the center of my small 12-inch piece there, and then I'm going to line all of this up with each other so that I know where to drill the holes in the bottom of this in order to put them into my back support piece here. I hope that makes sense. But I also measured how wide that piece is, and then I'm putting marks here where the center of that piece will be once it's attached on the other side. So now we're back on the top part of the board, and I'm going to use a clamp to hold this piece in place. Now again, this is 2 inches in from the outside edge. I measured that on the top, and I'm clamping that in place on that 2-inch mark. And then underneath, you can see all my measurements here, 2 inches in, and then I measured where I wanted to pre-drill the holes so that they're going through the bathtub tray board into that support piece. So I pre-drilled those holes, and then I added in my screws to hold it in place. This is the first time that I'm making one of these bathtub trays, so all of this is a little bit of trial and error for me. So after attaching that back piece, I needed to decide what distance I needed between the 2 pieces in order to hold a book upright. So I got a pretty good sized book, and I stuck it between the 2 pieces, and then I figured out that 2 inches was a good distance between these 2 pieces in order to hold pretty much any size book. It will also hold a phone upright, or at least my phone, and mine has a pop socket on the back, so that gives it a little bit extra width. And then I went ahead and marked 2 inches at both ends of this small board so that I could line up my smaller piece equally. Next, you'll need to measure the distance from the back end of your board up to the center of where that smaller board is. You'll need to know what this measurement is so that when you turn your board over, you'll be able to measure that and know where exactly to pilot drill your holes and add your screws so that they go into the back side of this board. I went ahead and used some masking tape. This is painter's tape, or masking tape will work as well. It won't leave any residue on my board, and then that holds my small board in place. I double checked the measurement as well to make sure that it stayed even and it didn't move around after flipping it over. And then I went ahead and measured from the outside of my board on the bottom part of this board, measured from the outside to where that center mark was. For me, it was 5.5 inches. For you, that'll completely depend on what size boards you are using. So I went ahead and pre-drilled those holes and then added my screws in place to hold that board. I wanted to add some knobs on each end of the bathtub tray, so I found my center mark on my board, which is 5 3/4 inches, that I measured in 2 inches from the outside edge. These knobs I got at a rummage sale, so they didn't cost me anything. I pre-drilled some holes and then I added the knobs into place. Some nice handles would look nice on this as well, and you could get them for less than $2. Next, I'm going to be putting a clear coat over this entire board. I want to waterproof it a little bit, so I am using this Rust-Oleum glossy clear spray paint. You could also use a poly spray, or if you have polyacrylic in a paint can, you could spread that on there as well. You just want to seal it in some way, whether that's with a clear coat or with painting it all one color. I added 2 coats of spray paint to the top side, all of the edges, and then turned it over and added 2 coats to the bottom side as well. I am super excited with how this project turned out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it didn't cost me anything to make. I already had the scrap boards on hand. The poles were super cheap from a rummage sale, and the screws, it only took a few of those. So this is a very affordable project, but I think that it's a great gift to give to someone or just to make it for yourself so that you can spend some time relaxing in the bath. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see any other videos that involve using DIY items that you already have on hand. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!